It's one of the final pieces of the puzzle. They've done platoon attacks with blank rounds. They've fired live rounds from static ranges. Now they must put it together.
Come down here. Show the rifle. You come here. Yeah. Okay, look at me. Okay, stand up. Look at me. Right-handed or left-handed? Right-handed. Okay, stand up. Okay, that's the onset target you will be throwing the grenade. Any questions?
No.
Right, okay. Once the grenade goes off, if it's a good throw, then you need to put a couple of brush onto the figure 12 target on the right. Any questions?
No.
No? Right, okay. Arch your grenade ready.
Arch your acknowledge grenade now. Throw all. Take cover, take cover, take cover.
Okay. Great. Throw! Down. Grenade! On guard! On guard! On guard!
Whilst one platoon conduct their first ever live firing attack, across the vast training area, 3 platoon are preparing for a wet gap crossing.
The critical thing is, whenever you cross the obstacle, you are most vulnerable at the time, yeah?
The combat infantryman's training course is reviewed and updated every 3 years, and amidst fears wet gap crossing skills were fading away, they're now looking to introduce them. Officer Commanding Major Rajesh Gurkha has volunteered Gurkha Company to trial it.
This is my first experience in my lifetime crossing a river, so I think it is going to be a fun. Yeah.
You're looking forward to it?
Yeah.
A bit cold?
Yeah, I don't know the temperature of water, but I think it's quite cold here.
Whenever you are crossing a river, the main thing is you always have to look 360 to make sure that the enemies are not there. They have to be very tactically sound. Whenever they are into the water, make sure that there isn't any noise coming out from the your body, having dripping water. That is also the key thing because the sound can travel up to miles while you are crossing the river.
By chance, if our weapon gets submerged inside the water, we just unload the weapon, dry out all the water quickly as soon as possible with dry clothes, and we just oil up the working parts of the weapon so it doesn't get damaged. Because if it doesn't operate, there is no purpose of going to the war. So the main purpose is to keep our weapon safe and ourselves dry and safe.
Do you remember your first river crossing?
Yes, I do remember when I was in Brunei. I was a first man to cross the river, as I was good on swimming. So they put me, okay, young man, let's go and do the river crossing. I had that feeling there that there are some crocodiles and anacondas on the river, inside the river. But I crossed the river with lots of courage.
At least they shouldn't have to worry about crocodiles in Otterburn.
No, they don't have to.
Move.
3, 2, 1, move.
Back out on the range, one platoon face their next challenge.
If you come and see there, that is the OHF position. So OHF, obviously overhead firing protection. So whilst the platoon are advancing at the front, if you see there, the OHF will provide the obviously overhead fire protection. So that will suppress the enemy position so that they can advance at the front simultaneously. So the rounds are going just above the head, so it is 3.25 meter from the ground level.
So that's really quite close to the head. So
yeah, that is quite close. So the reason why we do this is obviously when they deploy in the operations, so it is to create that realistic scenario that they are under the fire as well. The support is there to provide just side by side.
Yes, ma'am, it's actually really surprising because we have only played with our individual weapon, and listening to the machine gun, it's actually really gives us thrill and actually gives us a feeling that someone is covering us and watching over us. Yeah. 10 Alpha.
Sergeant Santosh Goli has an important job. As the battle simulation sergeant, he's responsible for making the exercise feel real.
Firing now. You require a little bit of the preparations, because you need to mold and you need to cut, you need to measure all that safety fuse as well. Like I have to give the motor not all the bang in the different timing, so I have to cut that safety fuse as its specific timing. I'm trying to give them as much as realistic, so when they hear it, it might be their first bang during this live firing, so they might be very excited. Today I've said 5, so they were exploded simultaneously, bang, 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 bang. This is the device where you actually fire from. So this is called the strike, and it has got the battery pack over here, and it has got the 4 circuit. This is very important device that, as being the DSO, that is a demolition safety officer, I must carry wherever I go. So this is my baby.
Back at the wet gap crossing, all recruits have made it across and are gradually drying out.
At first, I was really nervous because the weather was already cold, and so getting wet was not probably a good idea for me. But when I jumped into the river, my excitement was high, so I didn't feel any cold, and now I'm not feeling any cold because still feeling warmer and can do it once more. Yeah.
We don't know what's inside the water, and what's the depth of the water. So it was quite nervous for both of us to cross the river for the first time in this, with all these gears and weapon, all this load. We are really proud of ourselves. Today I learned how to overcome the fear, seeing all those numbers and my section commanders crossing the rivers. They really help us, cross the rivers.
You are given a drill, make sure you are to apply that.
For these young recruits, the journey's almost over. After 8 months in the UK, all that now stands between them and their promotion to full Gurkha soldiers is the final exercise in just a few weeks' time.